Hey there, welcome to 21 Secrets to Boutique Success. I'm your host and facilitator, Nicole Sims. I'm so glad you're with us today. Today we're on day 9, where today we're talking to Valerie Mekki, who is an SEO content writer and blogger and created her own blog, Oh Hello Work Life, after she was laid off from the fashion industry for 15 years. Now she helps other women entrepreneurs who are transitioning from the workplace, have their own side hustles and business, and how they can grow the business and stay competitive in this new market. And she knows everything SEO. She knows everything about how to grow your brand, how to attract customers. You're going to love this conversation. Take some notes. It's going to be great. See you there. Hey, Valerie. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thanks for being here today. I'm so excited about this conversation. Thank you for being a part of the show today.
I'm so happy and excited to be here with you.
Thank you. So we're gonna talk about a couple of different things going on today. But first, I want to give us the guys a little bit of background, because a lot of people who are looking at this video today have started a retail business. Either they had to leave a job because of COVID or being laid off, so they went to their passion full time, or two, they're working full time still, but they have a part time side hustle and they wanted to become successful in that side hustle. So it's a retail business they're doing on the side. And so you know all about that. You know all about transitioning to being one place in corporate America, having a job, and then transitioning to a business owner. Kind of gives a little background about
Yeah, I definitely know that journey and that story. I lived through that. At the beginning of the pandemic, I unfortunately was laid off. I worked in apparel manufacturing for over 18 years, and I really was blindsided. I did not. Um, I didn't think that I was going to be laid off. I thought I was a part of the essential team. And in the middle of COVID, really in the fashion industry, no one was hiring. And all of my experience was store related. And so I wish if I had to go back in time, I would probably spend more time focusing on e-commerce, but I didn't.
that.
My whole career has been based on stores. So my resume definitely wasn't up to the market needs. And so while I was searching for a job in the middle of the pandemic, I started to, do some research. I took odd and, projects from people. And there was one project that I took from a friend, and she just needed a deck to be created about search engine optimization. And she knew I knew how to put decks together. And so I put the deck together for her. And while I was putting it together, I started learning more and more about SEO, search engine optimization. What does that mean for businesses? How do you get found on Google? And then it just kind of like stuck with me. I got incredibly curious about it. And so I thought a way for me to learn more about it is to learn how to blog online, because not only do you learn the technical parts of SEO, but allowing to publish your work out there, you kind of put two and two together. And so while I was looking for a job, I launched my blog, Oh Hello Work Life. It was about just like the changing work for women during the time of the pandemic, because over 2.9 million women lost their jobs during the pandemic. And so
Yeah.
they were at this point where, okay, what do I do? I have to stay at home with the kids, but how do I still
Right.
sustain the household? So I just wanted to put some information out there about, ways to have a side hustle, or, how to improve your, headline on LinkedIn. I just felt like anything I could do to put information out there. Putting out an online blog was really my way of showing that, and just practicing too about SEO.
Nice. That's really good. So I love how you have to, the big word for 2020 was pivot. And a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, pivot, pivot, pivot. I had to do the same thing. And I wish to you, my background was similar. I was always in stores, and then everything was online. I had to kind of pivot my mindset. And a lot of us, I was one of people got laid off as well. That's why I'm doing this now. We had to really think about, okay, how we get online presence, because we never really taught that. We're taught how to
Yeah.
show up here physically, but now the online was so saturated how to show up. So that's really, really good that you did that. And you learned a skill that's really, really good, basically on because of necessity, like, well, I need this position for my friend. Let me figure this out. So that was really, really good.
Yeah, I think digital relevancy is so important these days to keep up with the market needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took that opportunity and just started going with it and followed my curiosity.
Nice. So how did you adjust your mindset? 'Cause that's the one thing I know is a really big difference. I'm still working on it, to be honest.
Hmm.
How as being a business owner now and then having that, that cushion of having that job. How do you help people with that mindset transition? Because it is different than being, you could be a manager successful in your, corporate job,
Yeah.
but it's still different in managing your own business. How do you adjust that? How do you help people with that?
So from, it is an adjustment, and you have to give yourself some grace,
I like that.
100%.
I love that.
Because when you're in a corporate setting, you don't realize it until you step away from it, how much you depend on other teams.
Mhm.
When I was a buyer, I would just focus on product development, putting out the right retails and making sure that it all shipped to the stores,
Mhm.
right? But there was like a marketing side
Right.
and there's like PR side so you
Right.
don't have, it's not your job. You stay in your own lane. It's not really, you're exposed to it as
Mhm.
much as what you should be, as much as you are when you are a business owner. When
Right.
you're a business owner, you're not only trying to, master your services and products, but then you have to put on another hat for social media,
Mhm.
marketing,
Mhm.
your online store, and you just you just have to wear so many hats. So I think my biggest, you know, um, point and tip that I always share with people is give yourself some grace, because
I
you
love
are in this like learning period and
mhm.
being a student again. And if you're just open to learning something new, I think you'll catch on pretty quickly than what you may give yourself credit for.
I love that. Give yourself grace. That's important because again, from my example as well, it's like I was a rock star. I felt I was a rock star just rocking it out in my business, my business, when I work for my company, and then your business,
Yeah.
things aren't going as fast. Or
Yeah.
you're saying it's going and then you're going back, and then you're going and then you're going back. I'm like, wait a second. my professional life that I had for 20 something, 30 years, it moved. I put this effort in, I saw
Absolutely.
I'm putting effort
Yep.
in now. Results is not taking as fast. It's like taking a long
Yeah.
time. So I love that. Give yourself grace. I love that because we don't. We beat ourselves, especially women. We beat ourselves up. I should be rocking this out. I love
I should
that.
know this. I
Yes,
should
I should
be.
know this.
No, you don't. You don't know it. You've never been here. You don't know that. And it's okay to like take the time, slow down to speed up.
Mhm.
I didn't understand that term, but now I understand it. Now that I run a business on the side, and
Mhm.
I pivoted my career to a completely different part of the industry,
Right.
but I love it.
Right.
But understanding that it's okay to ask for help, or it's okay to
Mhm.
slow down so that you can catch up,
I think
is
that's
really
really
big
key.
too.
I love that you say ask for help.
Hmm.
Slow down. This is what this thing's all about. Asking me the help that you
Yeah.
need. That's what the show is all
Yep.
about.
Yep.
Because we need to support each other and understand, like to
Yeah.
your point, you've never done this before. You've never
Yeah.
had, even if you've been here, even if you've been in business for 3 or 4 years, you were a business owner for 3 or 4 years. You were working for someone for 20 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
So even though you
Yeah.
also has 3 years to have this by now. No,
No.
I love that. I love that. So kind of piggybacking off of that, what do you think is a common mistake a lot of these women or men who are watching are
Yeah.
making when they're transitioning from being a business owner, from being online? I mean, I know the slow down part is very valid.
Yeah.
The being the grace. What's another kind of like a common mistake you kind of see a lot of people making that you interact with?
Number one mistake is you're so focused on what your business looks like without really focusing on who you're serving. So even as I am a content writer and I write copy and I write blogs for other businesses, even for myself, the number one thing you should always keep in mind and actually spend a lot of time with is understanding your customer and understanding who they are. It does not matter what your website looks like yet, but I feel like, and I did this mistake too. I paid so much attention to what my blog looked like. I knew what the context was, and I knew there was heart in, like, there was good stuff in the content. But if I would have really paid attention more to really focusing on my subject matter, to really focus on the topics that they were looking for and searching for online, rather than spending so much time on what the actual like colors were, what the logo
Mhm.
looked like,
Mhm.
my focus and where my trajectory probably would have been much quicker, much faster. So my
Nice.
number one tip for any person who has just started their business or maybe 3 years in, stop focusing on like the visual details of how it looks. Really focus on who you're serving and what message and what information, what value you're going to give to them, because
Mhm.
that is going to be so much more important than what it looks like.
Now you're not saying not to have a good looking site or anything, right?
Nope.
You're saying, okay, okay.
No,
Okay.
it's really more about it's. I always say this: your website is your home, right?
Mhm.
So I think people focus on what's the furniture look like? What's the wallpaper gonna look
Oh,
like?
right.
No, it's about the foundation,
Got it.
right?
Got
Where are
it.
you gonna park your house? What
Right.
neighborhood is it gonna be in? What niche are you in? What sector? What neighborhood? What community is
I
your
like that.
website gonna live in?
Mhm.
That's the most important. That's going to be the long term, long game of success.
I like that because they might be attracted to the visuals, but when you're not giving any
Yeah.
content or anything they can relate to or can get out of it, they're gonna move on. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty, but
You
she's
could
all
be
about
in a
fluff.
completely wrong
Yeah.
like
Yep.
community,
Yep.
right?
That's
Like
good.
you
That's
could
good.
park your website in a completely wrong area and your focus is one where somewhere, but your actual audience is somewhere else.
I love
So
that.
it's really getting down to like who your I call them personas, people call them avatars,
Mhm.
ideal customer. I created one. I create one for my clients whenever I write content for them. It just gives you this, it's like a semi-fictional character in your mind, who you're serving, what gripes do they have, what are their pain points, what are you trying to solve for them, and you're
Mhm.
really just playing into their life and how are you going to make a connection with them.
That's really good. That's really good. And I think I've said a few other interviews have said pretty much similar things to you. So there's like a theme going in this show right now. Know who you serve, know your
Yep.
customer. And I think the common track is, well, social media is all flashy and it's all pretty and it's all color and it's all the great things. But those people might be successful, what you're seeing, but they know who they're talking to. And those are the
Yes.
ones that are truly successful. Yeah, you see all that flash, but they know exactly what they're doing. And so you have to start where you are and know who you're talking to. That's been a really good theme this whole past that's doing the show. Like know who your
Yeah.
customers are, know where they are, and then start from there and build. Yeah, I love that.
And listen, you should show your personality. You
Mhm.
should be authentic with your audience. They want someone who's unique, but you want to make sure that your message, your
Mhm.
content, your copy is
Mhm.
completely as if you're having that one-on-one
I
conversation
love
with
that.
them, because that's what's going to land more. It resonates with them, and that's
Mhm.
what's going to make them go down that journey to follow you, to make that purchase when you're ready to share that with them, right? That's
Yeah.
really what it is. It's
Right.
like nurturing your audience. But if
Right.
you're just putting yourself out there and it's all about
Mhm.
who's like, you actually
Right.
need to actually talk to someone. So that's why I really highly encourage people to come up with a persona of some sort, and that you're really directly talking to your customer.
I love that. That is so key. That is so key. So let's say the person has now, they've listened to you and they know who they're talking to and
Hmm.
they've given this upgrade and they're moving along. Now they want to scale. So what do you think
Yeah.
is one of the common misconceptions people have when now they want to scale their business? Because now they want to scale, now they
Well,
can leave the 9 to 5 and they can
yeah.
move on.
Yeah, I would say number one is take a look at if you, I'm assuming everyone should have an online presence, meaning you
Mhm.
should have your own website. And when I say online presence, I'm not just talking about social media. That's one way of looking at it. That's short term, but it's rented space that you are working off of, right?
Yeah.
So even if you have 5,000, followers, 10,000 followers, that's all on rented space. That's on
Mhm.
someone else's algorithm. It's on someone else's platform. Your own website is your own land. So make sure that you put in some time in developing what is your website and on the sea of other websites. How is it going to be found on Google?
Mhm.
So my area of expertise is going to be search engine optimization. So just a quick, search engine optimization is making sure that your website shows up for searches. So if you own a candle shop and it has like unique smells, then make sure that your keywords all over your website, not stuffing, but just that they're in there somehow in certain places. If there are certain smells that are unique for your business, make sure that that's on your website, it's in your copy. Those signals will say to Google, hey, this website has all of these candles. So I hope that gives you some sort of
Mm-hmm.
understanding of like what search engine optimization
Mm-hmm.
is. It's really about having those signals, those keywords over to Google, because really that's the number one search,
Yes.
and making sure that your website is going to be found. And I also want to say that search engine, understanding the fundamentals of search engine optimization is not just for Google, even though it's 97% of how people do their search, but you can take those same principles and apply it towards your LinkedIn profile, for your Pinterest. If you're doing YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel or video, it's how are you going to make all of your copy and your words come up on search results. So even though I say Google, it really applies to anything that has a search bar.
I love that. Which is what we do. I mean, I search a lot of things through YouTube.
Yeah.
I search a lot of things through Google, and I do search a lot of things on Pinterest as well. So I do I'm on Pinterest and I get ideas. And so what a lot of the retailers understand, people are looking for ideas on Pinterest, and they're searching for things, and your blog or whatever you have about your business does come up when you do those searches. Products comes up, everything, because your product is the answer to that search. So for order to the algorithm to work, you have to have those words in there. That's really, really key. I think a lot of small retailers don't get that part of it. Like, I think we've heard it a while. They've heard it.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand how important it is to help you get found by people, and get found by people who you never might be, maybe you can't see them when you're your email list, or you can't see them with your social media. But if I'm just looking, I'm like in another part of the country, but I'm looking for what you have, I will find you. Well, you even have to work. You've done the work on it.
And you're asked about scale, and that's what scale is.
Exactly.
It's to be discovered in the sea, right? It's not just local. Local SEO is very important too, but just how are you being found in the search, in the sea of all these other competitors or options. And I always going back to your persona. You always have to think about, okay, what questions do they have? If they were going to go online, what words would they use? So if you want just a quick, easy, like, how do I start with my keyword search and make sure that I get those main keywords? Think like your customer. Get in their shoes, get in their head, put in the words that you think that they would use to find your products and services. And then those are your keywords that you should really focus on.
You answered my question I was going to ask you. So, okay, I understand that, but how do I do that? And that's perfect, because I think we overcomplicate things. I think it's broken down simply. Just think about your avatar or your ideal customer while they're searching for things that your product solves. What would they say? That's perfect.
Yes. Exactly. And then also there's another tip, is that if you put it in Google, don't finish off the entire phrase. Let Google do the auto suggest for you. Google's number one goal is to make sure that people stay on their platform, and that they're giving the best results possible, and that they're actually going to bet that they know what you're thinking before you even do it. So that auto suggest is really key in what I use when I'm trying to find new keywords, what I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what are other people searching for? Because if you don't put the entire keyword, it will auto suggest for you. It's basically saying, hey, here are other like searches that are coming up when you're typing that in. So they're already giving you a hint what people are looking for.
That's really good. That's a very good tip. Because I can see people putting if you leave it empty at the end, Google's going to answer it for you.
It'll give you the whole line.
Nice.
And those are the keys.
Do you use that key phrase to help put in your CEO? That's brilliant.
Yes. And you put those in for a blog, if you're going to write some content, or you're going to update your website of your copy, start putting those in. Put a frequently asked session in your website. That's also searchable too.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. That was really good knowledge right there. Again, I'm just thinking about the people that I've talked to and my clients at SEO. There's so much on their plate, And then you
Yeah.
go, oh, it's another thing I have to learn. Well, not really, because you already have your online store, you already have your website, you're already doing these things. Just add the CEO to it, you're already doing,
Yes.
and then you're going to add those more layers of getting discovered and getting people to find you. And that's
Yep.
how you scale. That's how you become a successful business, is more customers with less work.
With less work. That's right.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
right.
It's good. So before we leave, I know you have a blog you want to talk about, an article you want to talk about that you're going to
Yep.
actually have give to the viewers today. What's that about?
Yeah. So you know, there were so many misconceptions before going into blogging that I had no idea. I don't know if anyone was ever interested in making money off of blogging, you'll start to see those videos come up on YouTube. They'll say
Mm-hmm,
like make $10,000,
mm-hmm,
blogging, do this or that,
mm-hmm,
and I was like, of course, right? It's writing. I can learn how to write. Definitely sign me
uh-huh.
up. Well, it's not exactly how you think it's going to be. And actually, I have yet to make my $10,000 in blogging. However, it did open up amazing opportunities of my making my career pivot from being a buyer to now a content writer and writing professionally for a company and for my clients. So in a way, I have made money on it, but on my blog itself, it's still getting there. But that's okay because I've learned so many things in the last year, almost 2 years. And in this particular article, I do write down and share with my audience, where can you learn a guide on SEO? I give you the links on what
Oh,
guide to
nice.
use. I give you where you can build your persona. I give you just all these really. I wish I had these links when I started my blog and to tell me
Uh-huh.
like the real truth of what that would look like.
Right.
Those are all the links that I include in my blog article. And I think it'll be really helpful for your audience to kind of just get a peek of what would blogging look like, whether you're going to make it, do it on your own,
Mm-hmm.
to be a content creator, or if you're going to do it for your actual business blog,
Right.
which I highly recommend that your business blog does have some sort of articles with it, because just remember, it's all about content these days. In order to stay relevant and be relevant according to Google, you actually have to consistently put new content
Mm-hmm.
on your website. And,
Mm-hmm.
and blogging is a way to make sure that it's fresh and that there's authoritative information about your product and services.
No, I love
So that's what I would love to share with your community. And I'm sure the link will be available.
Yes, it's actually going to be available in the email where you guys got this video. It's going to be in the copy in there. So it's going to be great. I love how you said something really quick about the content, because I know people do
Mhm.
believe in content, but when they hear content, they think social media only.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they think, well, I have to make my more posts, my next video, my next tech video. But she just gave you an easy way of getting content out there with your own voice that you own and control
Mhm.
on your website,
Mhm.
that's still gonna draw people to you. That's really good.
Yeah.
Because on
Yeah, there's two
Instagram,
forms of
yeah.
content. There's a
Oh,
short form and there's a long form.
mhm. Yeah, so I love that. So what's the difference between the short and the long form, real quick?
Short form is going to be social media.
Okay, that's
It's
what I
going
thought.
to be super short. It's going to be your tweets. It's going to be
Mhm.
your sizzle reels. And then long form just takes it a little bit further, a little more elaborated. And you can definitely still do, let's say you did a Facebook Live,
Mhm.
a Q&A. That's awesome. I
Mhm.
call that like that's intermediate. You're going to get like some great leads quickly, but you
Mhm.
could repurpose that same content and then turn it into a blog, turn
Yep.
it into a podcast
Mhm.
episode, make it evergreen. So, again, we're saying, like, how do I scale
Mhm.
without putting so much more time and effort into it? Well, take a look at your content, see if you can repurpose it, taking it from a short form into a long form, whether it's translating what you did online in social media, even if it's like a roundup of your best social media, postings, the 6 ones, and you put into article, that's
Mm.
going to live on Google for so much longer
Nice.
than that 24-hour cycle or, right? That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's a 24, 48-hour
Yep.
cycle
Mm-hmm.
for social media posts.
Yep.
So really think about how you can repurpose your content so it works harder.
That's good. That's really good. I love that. So before we leave, I want to ask you one final question. So speaking from your heart, what is one thing you want the people who are listening and watching today? What's the one thing, if they don't get anything else, what was the one thing you want to make sure they get from you today? That they walk away with?
I would say, don't be afraid to try something new. And that I honestly, if you were to tell me when I was growing up that you were going to be a writer, I would be totally laughing at whoever said that to me because I was a horrible speller. I only cared about drawing. I only cared about being creative. And really, if I kept that same story in my mind, I probably wouldn't be here today. So really try, be open to try something new. Just because maybe you're in midlife or you're starting over again doesn't mean that you can't learn something new. It's something like technology that can really scare some people. No, that's not true.
Love that. That's great. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, don't be afraid to try something new. Because again, that word was pivot was a big word for a reason. You have to really change and be open. I love that. I love that. And this is what we're doing. We're starting our own businesses and we're doing something new right now. So keep it moving. Well, that was fantastic, Valerie. I thank you so much. There's a lot of nuggets today. I really, really appreciate what you did today. I really appreciate you being out here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.